And so here we are with map number 2 in this best of 3 in a PVZ. The winner of this series gets a spot in Challenger League. The loser has to try and requalify, spawning to the top right hand position as the pink Protoss player, representing Alien Invasion. He's 1-0 up. It's Kerr. As I quickly correct my overlays. In the top left, his opponent, representing Vega Squadron. 1 game away from losing. 1 game away from leveling out the series. It's JonnyREcco. Frost, big 4-player map. And Kerr had an interesting game 1. He started off with a lot of Zealot warp-ins to try and punish a quick third base from Rico. And it didn't manage to do any economic damage. Didn't take out the hatch. Rico defended it well. However, what it allowed was him to take the island expansion on Way Station. And that caused Rico a lot of problems. He thought he was up against a 2-base Immortal Sentry all-in. He got a lot of roaches out, he was prepared, but never took a 4th. And then just due to having 3-base on 3-base, Kerr built up a sizable army and could just overwhelm. This game though, and this map, there's no island expansions. Does Kerr have what it takes to fight up, straight up? Or does he need to take another ninja base somewhere? Does he have another cool little strategy like that? We will keep an eye on it. So, Rico, gonna get the second scout with the Overlord. Doesn't immediately know where his opponent is. But he's also switched things up. Decided to open hatch first rather than pool first this game. On a large 4-player map such as Frost, you're actually pretty safe doing that. Nothing too scary's gonna be coming at you, no proxies. And really, the worst you have to worry about is a cannon rush. But that's why the drone was pulled down. As long as you got the drone there, you can keep a close eye on if there's a cannon rush or anything coming, and pull drones if required. So that's cool. So, Cybercore now down. Expansion should be hitting any second from Kerr, who's playing a very normal, very safe gate expand. Different build though this game. Probe already ready to take the second gas, so we're not going to be seeing that Zealot heavy play. So, going to be really interesting to see what kind of build comes down. It's going to be a different build for sure out of Kerr. Rico still gets up his third base nice and quick. That came down at around 3 minutes 40. So very early on. And that was actually before he got any solid scouting information. So just assuming that he's getting something down. Knows now where his opponent is. Going to be happy he took this base as opposed to the one up here. And this base was always the right one to take, because if you know your opponent's not down to the left, this base is not bad in cross spawns, but this one is terrible if they're to your right, unless you've got something specific planned like being ultra aggressive. So, keeping a good peek on anything else that could be coming down, but nothing crazy yet. 2 gates, a very unique wall off actually here. I don't think I've ever seen someone wall off in this way. And it's not an ideal way to wall off, because unfortunately that pylon is a vulnerability. One link gets in, sees 2 gases, can now work out that, okay, no sign of any greedy, or no sign of any kind of big Zealot play coming in, but also no sign of any of the tech. A forge is now on its way down, so it's going to be an early upgrade play coming out from Kerr. Meanwhile, Rico adding in his first 2 gases, his third base up and running, and going to be just injecting. Getting those drones out and playing it for the macro game. Still has an Overlord up to the north that he can sack in later. Also, just being a bit aware of what this probe is getting up to. This is a sneaky probe, I sense it. Warp gate tech nearly done. This Stalker being in position ready to deny expansion, deny vision, but this sneaky probe, I want to know what he's doing. Oh no, he hasn't actually scouted Rico yet. But he should know from the Overlord positionings. Should he? I think he should. Either way, sneaky probe. Roach Warren now coming down for Rico. He's adding in more drones, still injecting. Just as he should be. Meanwhile, Kerr, +1 on its way, chrono boosting out probes, and is going to take a fast third. But Rico scouts this now. He sees that third base, and this says, one thing and one thing only. Quick third base, you've got no tech if you've got it down that quickly. So where is the gas going? Well, the answer to that is the gas is going in sentries. You need those sentries out to be able to hold this against a lot of lings. But even if there is a lot of lings, it's gonna be still pretty tough to hold it all down. So that's why you get the cannon. That's where you get the double gateway. Things need to be going very steady and very careful. Mothership core, of course, can photon overcharge, but not till the Nexus is done. Kerr now throwing down that proxy pylon. I'm not quite sure what he's got planned with this pylon, if I'm honest, because he doesn't know 100% where Recco is. And this pylon is no closer to Recco than actually where Kerr is spawned. Actually, it's further away, so not ideal. I think Kerr thinks Recco's cross spawn. He must think Recco's cross spawn. And this is actually quite a big slip up that he hasn't 100% confirmed this. Scout's down now, and he's going to be like, what, oh, wait, I've spit a pylon down here. I guess I don't need that, but hey, pylons are pylons. You need them anyway. So keeping a close little peek on what Recco's doing. He's adding in that hydrogen now. We've got the Twilight Council coming through. Recco scouted though, nice and early, so knows what kind of tech he's likely to be up against. And that's why this hydrogen's a great choice. Big push though, coming across the map. Army supply, currently favouring Recco just, but force fields and just the better cost effectiveness and supply effectiveness of Protoss units mean that doesn't quite equate perfectly. More roaches need to come through, and this push is actually going to be super annoying to deal with because there's just not that much here. One sentry goes down, 2, 3 more falling. A lot more roaches on their way out too. The force fields are now pretty much all being used, but there's more stalkers reinforcing through. This pylon, ridiculously close. Good force field zoning out a lot of those drones, and Recco retreats back. Got no choice but to do that. 13 more roaches on the way through. Drones getting pulled just to try and act as a bit of a buffer for these roaches. Tactically pulling drones isn't ideal, but it does buy you a bit more time. This hatch is the key thing. Recco's still up at only about 2 drones less than what he ideally wants in this situation, so not the biggest problem. But what is a problem are the stalkers charging the front. Roaches now have speed though, so they can close up the distance. The upgrade advantage there though. But Kerr, mass recalls out, plays it safe. Recco looking to counter-attack now, knows that he's only got to deal with stalkers with +1. A lot more gateways coming through though, a lot more warp-ins. These roaches have speed and +1 as well now though, so there's about a 40-second in-game time when obviously +2 won't be done, minus the chrono boosts. I don't think Recco can break it down though. Even though there's only stalkers there, there's the cannon, there's the photon overcharge. Actually no, there's no photon overcharge because that was the time warp, wasn't there? So mass recall and time warp means no photon overcharge. 4th base coming through though. This is big gateway pressure being prepared. Recco checking for any other expansions that may have been hidden somewhere. A few Hydras coming into the mix, and Roach Hydra can break this down. Stalkers, even with Blink, are not effective against Roach Hydra. Spire coming out as well. Now this is a bit more of an interesting choice. Perhaps anticipating some Colossi, in which case Corruptors are an okay response. But if he thinks there's only Stalkers with Blink, Muters are not going to be that great until there's a big amount of them. So the Roaches back off. Don't want to go yet. Overseer coming through. He's going to see that, okay, there's no Robo. There's no sign of anything like a Robo. So this must be a big Blink Stalker play. Spire, now half done. Still, the Protoss units pushing across the middle. There's a good number of Hydras here, though. What's the sentry count at? 6. That's a good number of force fields. But of course, the Hydras do have the range upgrade. And on creep, they're fast. So you're going to be able to obviously reposition nicely. The important thing is that Recco doesn't get zoned out by force fields, or more importantly, that he doesn't get part of his army zoned out. Because if his army gets into bite-sized chunks, it's going to be a problem. But this preemptive positioning means that if Kerr moves forward, he gets encased in a massive concave. Forward comes the Zerg now. The force fields starting to come through, but the Hydra's getting some good damage. +2 done for Kerr. Recco backing away. Lots more Lings coming through. Couple of Roaches and Hydras at the bottom. Re-engaging though, forcing some more force fields out. A big Blink reposition to get a better engagement was very nice, but sentries left isolated. Kerr being forced back now, Recco adding in more Hydras, more Roaches. about 30 army supply up at the moment, but the upgrade's in Kerr's favor. The Hydra's dishing out so much damage, some intense blink micro coming through, and someone there was getting some fairly big lag. That is not good. I don't know where that's coming through from, but always very, very annoying. Some massive lag now coming through. Not quite sure where that's coming from, but yeah, this is very annoying for the players because there's so many different people through. This is like a massive problem. Someone is causing like a huge amount of lag. I have no idea where it's coming from, but unfortunately there's so many obs in this game, it's causing a big problem. And that was through like a really critical engagement as well, but the trouble is when you've got so many obs in, until a name flashes up, no idea who it is. But waiting now to see exactly how this engagement goes down. Kerr is invested so heavily in this going through. But a good concave now from Recco. He's coming in from all angles. So many Hydras there. So many Roaches pushing forward. The Roach count, though, getting a bit lower. But only Stalkers against these Hydras. Even with Blink, it's challenging. Recco now double the army supply. Crushing through this. He's got his 4th base up. The work count relatively similar, but if we look at the resources lost, 12,500 for Kerr. Just under 9,000 for Recco. Causes a problem. More Roaches, more Hydras prepared and ready. Keeping a close eye on exactly when and where these two try and go in. But Recco posturing to be aggressive now. He's in a good spot. There is no splash damage to deal with these Hydras at all. Zealots getting called in is a bit of an emergency move, but they're going to get slaughtered. The Stalker count pretty damn low. There's just an overwhelming Zerg force here. Despite great Blink micro, there's no Photon Overcharge. There's only 10 Stalkers remaining. Kerr, I think, is going to have no choice but to GG out, and Recco levels out this series to be 1-1.